He had no business releasing Peyton Manning, but he had to secure his future. Because let's say Peyton still walks away this year. Yeah, let's say they got one more Super Bowl. So there's 2 Super Bowls he won, but now your franchise is being handicapped. You had Source still in the backup. The luck would have went elsewhere. So I think it was fitting. I think it was Jim Irsay doing what he does best. He is a player's owner. If you guys remember, and some of you may not, when the Colts won their first Super Bowl, Aaron James was rewarded a Super Bowl ring, and he had nothing to do with that team. Irsay personally paid out his pocket the edge to get a ring. And that just shows the type of dude he is. He knows who got him to where he's at, and he pays him back. Peyton Manning is probably the greatest coach ever. No disrespect to my grandfather, football fan. He has surpassed Johnny U. And this generation only identifies the coach with Peyton Manning. Like, you still sometimes mention the coach that you're talking about, Peyton Manning. You're like, who the coach played that? But it's the Broncos. He was, and still will always be a coach, even though he won the Super Bowl as a Bronco. But he's the reason half of the Midwest hates Indianapolis, and he's the reason half of the other side of the country loves the Colts and became Colts fans, specifically because of their AC.
Yeah, I thought that was a good look for the Colts. I thought it was a little. I'm glad that it happened this quickly, but it was a little. Sometimes there's a lot of consternation and tension and everything in some of these situations. We see how long it took for Brett Favre for his situation to get worked out. It took a couple of seasons for him to get the homecoming in Green Bay. So I'm glad that, and I know totally different paths for Brett versus Peyton after they left their original team, or the team that they came into prominence with. But I'm glad that they acted swiftly on this and kind of swept it under the rug, because I think most football fans, like you just illustrated, it was kind of a business decision. It was a matter of that at that particular moment, the Colts had 1/5 or 1/4 of the whole payroll tied up in one player who had a very uncertain future. So it was, and then it just happened to be that moment when you have a possible all-time talent such as Andrew Luck on the board. So I think everything kind of worked out conveniently for them to move how they moved, and I thought that was another great aspect of Peyton Manning was how he handled the press conference leaving from Indianapolis. I mean, not many players would have really handled that well, to leave Lucas Oil Stadium, which is constantly referred to as the house that Peyton built, like you just mentioned with the fans that have the new fans of the Colts. Just as Peyton got there, people moved over to be to supporting the Indianapolis Colts. So I just thought it was a good look for an organization that was in a tough spot when the what was that, third or fourth neck surgery that he underwent. So it was a lot riding on that, but like I said, I thought it was great that they jumped on this quickly and didn't let a lot of years transpire before they righted that situation. I believe he's actually going to do a pretty big press conference in Indianapolis in the near future, kind of like a second retirement speech, in my opinion. But it'll be great to see how that plays out. And go ahead.
I mean, it's one of the things where all breakups don't be ugly. Very similar to Montana still showing up in San Fran. In this instance, because Montana was a little upset, but in this instance, it was more so a legit business decision. Jim Irsay adored Peyton Manning. They both, if you remember the original exit press conference, both were in tears.
Yeah.
It was a move that you had to make. Peyton showed that he wanted the better end of that deal because he went to 2 Super Bowls and won one, which that money could have been Irsay money, but you couldn't afford to leave you couldn't afford to leave Andrew Luck off the board because there's no more Aaron Rodgers. No more sit. See, the Packers were smart enough to have Aaron Rodgers where they spent him. Ever since the Matt Ryan, quarterbacks no longer sit. Because it's easy could have kept it. Say, hey, you're giving us 3 years, 3 or 4 years, you crack up, we're going to bring the youngster in. Because that's what we used to see.
Right.
Ever since Matt Ryan, it's Joe Flacco rookie year, where both went out and became playoff contenders in the rookie year. It changed the whole landscape of football. You no longer bench your rookie quarterback.
True. Yeah. So let's get ready to move on, man. Actually, I was going to get into this KD subject, but we'll jump onto that last and close the show out with that. Another big thing, you mentioned this to me. I really didn't have many thoughts on it, but, you know, I do think it's interesting because we seem to, and I know March Madness is here, but it seems like at this period of the year, with the exception of covering March Madness, we kind of have to develop stories. And we get into a lot of different things, a lot of different storylines that we normally don't see, or, you know, we try to develop stories because it's just that vacuum that the NFL leaves after the Super Bowl. So one story that's come on to the headlines in the last 24 hours is now retired Chicago White Sox player Adam LaRoche walks away from $13 million a year in salary when he was told by his team, the Chicago White Sox, and their general manager, I believe, Kenny Williams, they asked him to scale back the amount of time that his 14-year-old son Drake spends in the clubhouse and spends with the team. And like I said, instead of doing that, he turned his back on a 2-year, $25 million deal. So it's a pretty interesting story. What's your thoughts on it, man? I'm gonna let you jump to it because you texted me about this one. So what's your thoughts on it, man?
It's very interesting. And as me, I'm a father. Most people know that. And I love to spend time with my boys. And I have a daughter who we just went out and did like a little dance joint thing. We got her some Easter clothes. As a kid growing up without a father around, I can see both sides. It's very interesting because you look at the fact from a man standpoint, that's like, that's what's up. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's your father, like, that's like for, especially talking about leaving an example that will last on your boys forever. For you to sit and say, yo, I'll walk away from $13 million because they told me to scale back on how much I had you in the clubhouse. I mean, those are some of the tools that install in a young man that becomes a man. Kind of like one of those situations where a lot of people always bring up the episode from Fresh Prince where him and Uncle Phil had a little powerful moment. Or one of my favorite father-son moments was on the Cosby Show, Malcolm Jamal Warner, which was Theo, and Bill had a conversation where Theo told him, like, Dad, I mean, I tried my hardest, and I got C's, I got an average grade, I really tried the hardest, so that's all I could do. And Bill looked at him and was like, hey, got to be the honest thing I've heard, like, you know, and it's what it is, like, you're supposed to get try harder. So from that standpoint, it's kind of like, yo, that's what's up. You're making a statement, but words as he tells you, like, I'm not leaving 13 million on paper for none of my little things. They gonna go back home. They going back home, man. They not staying. I don't understand. I don't know how financially straight he is. But 13 years is 13 years guaranteed. It's baseball. You barely have to play. You just need a first base. Stretching on that. And they didn't ask for Drake not to be there. They asked him to scale back. Ken Williams even is quoted saying she should be here 100% of the time. 50% is too much in my eyes, but I'm okay with it. But he said that, you know, you can have half of the time. So, I mean, it's one of those situations where I want to stand beside LaRoche for making a stand as a father, but I can't. Because because even if some of the players like just go on the stand, protest for him, or like talking about going to walk out. I don't know if this is a plot to get Kitty out of there, but I'm a grown man. And me and you talked about this when we first started back talking after we lost our boy, and we were talking about our barbershop. You remember that?
Yeah.
And I no longer go to this barbershop because I can't come. And this guy was blessed with the blade, like sharp. And I'm talking about giving you lineups that look like straight off the Source magazine, and like just razor sharp lineups. Like you touch the edge of my head, you might believe like my joint was on point.
Right.
But I left because I couldn't curse. No, I'm not a potty mouth, but I'm a grown A man. I'm a grown A double money sign man.
Right.
And with this little kid here, you have to limit yourself to what you can say is due amongst the sanctuary of the boys. Like you just brought up about, wanting to do the tournament, eat some wings, having some brews. That is cool. That is very fun. That is very fun. That is what life is all about. That's why I do a live fantasy draft every year. But when you tell me you're bringing your grandma, I have to scale back on the jokes I use. I scale back on this show with you because I know you said, your mom's listening, so I don't cuss as much.
Well, I appreciate it.
I stopped cussing as much on my show and on my Facebook page because my mom is looking out. My mom's a friend on Facebook. I can no longer joke about wanting to do cocaine on the white girls.
Right.
And with this little kid, in the locker room, no one is ever against it. You can see that, but it has to be uncomfortable with so many days because out of respect. Even if the daddy say that's cool, because I know you're a brother like me. We got some uncles who say whatever. If you from an urban set, you know you got some uncles that say whatever in front of the kids.
Right.
And you got some neighbors who be like, well, if you don't like it, take them home. You know what I mean? That's how we grew up. But out of respect for this child